Across the country, 7 out of 10 new jobs are created in the small business sector. That's why it's so important for us to support entrepreneurship, not only in Oakland County, where we have a very, very strong infrastructure to support entrepreneurship, but throughout the region, the state, and our country. Entrepreneurship can take a great idea, turn it into a functioning business that can help promote investment in our communities, job creation. This is the sort of stuff we need. Devon O'Reilly is the head or manager of entrepreneurship at the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. A great driver of conversation and action on entrepreneurship. We have a great talk. Enjoy. I'm here with Devon O'Reilly, who is the manager of entrepreneurship and Detroit Engagement for the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. Devon, thanks so much for being here.
Glad to be here.
Devon, people might not know too much, I think most do, but what is the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce for those folks that maybe don't know?
Sure. So the Detroit Regional Chamber is truly a regional chamber in that it encompasses 11 counties in Southeast Michigan, and it really is kind of powering the Southeast Michigan economy. We're one of the oldest and largest chambers of commerce in the country, and we do everything from advocacy, education, different any kind of economic development, business attraction, and then all the way down to entrepreneurship and small business development, which is where I fall in.
Entrepreneurship, that's your
that's
space.
That's my lane. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your role. And,
sure. The chamber recognizes the role, the growing role that entrepreneurship plays in the regional economy, and so more than just being a traditional chamber of commerce, we're really kind of focusing on how can we best support entrepreneurs. And so my role is to really be the liaison to the entrepreneurial community and connecting the dots in the entrepreneurial ecosystem of the city and the region. And so I'm working day in and day out, sitting down with entrepreneurs one-on-one, sitting down with stakeholders, individuals who provide resources, and really trying to help connect the dots so that when entrepreneurs and startup businesses come to the chamber, we can really guide them to the exact resources they need.
Do you agree that this is a pretty exciting time for entrepreneurship and small business, not only in Detroit, but the region, but there certainly seems to be a lot of activity going on, and I feel like it's getting a bit of a higher profile. I'm sure a lot of that has to do with your work and the work of the Detroit Regional Chamber, but do you think it's a time right now when people are kind of liking the small business stuff?
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely a great time to be an entrepreneur. We have an incredible support system and some incredible resources that are out there. And one of the things I always say is I think that entrepreneurs nowadays in the region really have more of an opportunity to succeed than ever before. And it's really about knowing what's out there. So that's one of the biggest things I work on is, I have yet to encounter an entrepreneur, a small business, startup company that we can't connect with some kind of resource, whether that be, assistance in legal, marketing, whether that be procurement, B2B, whether that be space, just simple incubation, business accelerators. There's so much out there that, my job becomes easier when the resources are there, and I think we have the resources there, and there's just this culture of entrepreneurship that's really, really kind of peaking right now, really in the region.
We generally are a little bit of a big company town, in terms of the big three, and we've had large companies that have provided such largesse, for us economically, that I feel like people in our region maybe thinking about the entrepreneurial path, that might not be the first thing that they think about. Based on your work and what you're seeing, what are the things you think that we can do to really elevate that and to get the spirit of entrepreneurship even more embraced in the region?
Absolutely, and the key is with anything, starting young. And so entrepreneurship is such a simple concept to teach to kids. And I've actually done a couple instances where I've gone into some of the schools in Detroit, some of the middle schools in Detroit, to talk to the kids about entrepreneurship. And it really is easy to explain because they understand starting a business. Everyone had a lemonade stand. Everyone kind of maybe sold something out of the trunk of their car, or sold water bottles at an event. Right. You're an entrepreneur. You started a business.
Sure.
And so it is something easy for young people to grasp. I think the biggest thing is getting them to understand that this can be a business. The lemonade stand, the whole idea, the enjoyment, the excitement behind starting a lemonade stand and making a few bucks doesn't have to stop when you get older or become a teenager. Those ideas can just grow, become bigger, and kind of start to take more shape. And so, I think what we're seeing is more kind of education and entrepreneurship as you go through school, even from middle school all the way through junior high and in high schools. Then in college, I see it a lot in Wayne State and U of M, and obviously Oakland University does a lot, I think, to encourage entrepreneurship, classes, different majors. I think I saw at Wayne State University, they just added an entrepreneurship class. And U of M has multiple departments dedicated to entrepreneurs and growing entrepreneurial growth. And so I think you are seeing it, but it is one of those things where, help people understand that kind of the crazy ideas you have as a youth can be the careers of your future.
It's not as crazy as you might think.
No, not at all.
And it's a very noble path, and one that provides a great contribution, not only to us economically, but the richness of the various goods and services that folks bring to the marketplace. It's really quite an extraordinary thing. And you make such a good point when you talk about getting to the kids when they're young, because how do you change a culture? You start with the kids. And so I love that you're going to the middle schools, and I think that that's really good. And I can tell you that, 10 years ago, I think there was only one Michigan university that offered a major in entrepreneurship. And I think at this point, I think virtually every major college in the university in the state does, although of course a lot of the lessons of entrepreneurship can't necessarily be taught in a classroom.
Absolutely.
Some of those you got to kind of go through through yourself. Who are some of the interesting entrepreneurs that you've come across recently that you really like the flavor that they're bringing to the entrepreneurial scene?
Well, it's funny you say flavor. We last year at our Detroit Policy Conference, we did kind of a first ever for the Chamber pitch competition. So we invited entrepreneurs from Detroit to apply to pitch at our Detroit Policy Conference on our main stage. And we had some really interesting companies, an app for students to help get counseling. We had an individual who did boots for veterans, hired homeless veterans to create quality work boots. But the winner was actually a company called Detroit Ento, which makes the bug guys.
I was there. I remember.
For those that don't know, they create powder. They create food products out of cricket powder. And they do all sorts of stuff with cricket powder, which apparently crickets are a superfood. Where everyone's looking for the next big, superfood. High protein, low in fat. More healthy than salmon. And they can do so much with the powder. It really becomes a mental thing because I've tried multiple offerings from the Ento guys. Absolutely, and some of it you don't even notice. It's in the cookies, the powder in the cookies. I did actually try the fried cricket, so I ran the gamut. But yeah, just doing something interesting like that, but seeing it more as like they've got it's more than just a gimmick of kind of cricket food. There's real business acumen behind that. This is the next superfood that could really grow. So that's certainly one of the more interesting entrepreneurs I've encountered, and everyone kind of face light up when you tell them about it, or when you kind of get them to experience it. So yeah, up at Mackinac they even made a special cricket fudge, which
I was at the conference, and For folks that don't know, the Detroit Regional Chamber convenes a very important policy meeting at the Grand Hotel up on Mackinac Island each year, where business and civic and political leaders come together to actually work on and solve some of the challenges facing the state and profile different exciting things that are happening. And I did see that pitch competition and thought it was really, really cool, and hopefully something that can be even built on and expanded.
Yeah, so actually, what happened was we had the winner from the Detroit Policy Conference pitch competition actually went on to compete for the grand prize at the Mackinac Policy Conference. And so what we did was we identified a winner from the west side of the state, Fathom, which was underwater drone technology.
Oh wait, that's who I saw. That was what I saw at the
So those two pitched at the Mackinac Policy Conference.
Oh right, okay. So the first one was a meeting in Detroit.
First one was specifically Detroit entrepreneurs, and then we brought the winners from the west side and east side to Mackinac.
That's who I saw. It was at Mackinac. It was Ento, and then the underwater
Fathom,
drone technology.
Yeah. And I can say we keep in touch with both of those companies, and both of them have expanded, are doing even better, have raised more capital, and are growing just in less than a year since we had that competition.
What about Shark Tank? Did you ever watch that? And I actually think that Shark Tank is moving the needle a little bit in terms of giving people greater appreciation for entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. It brings entrepreneurship kind of to the mainstream. It lets people understand it. Some entrepreneurship can be this kind of gray area, this word that you don't understand. Yeah. And so people kind of struggle sometimes to grasp what is an entrepreneur, what's involved in entrepreneurship. And I think shows like Shark Tank are a great way. You talked about getting people young kind of involved in entrepreneurship. Yeah. Haven't watched that show. And I think that's one of those things where the whole family can sit down and watch that show and understand this is how I pitch a business, and the things you see in that show, how they evaluate a business, look at the scalability, the profitability, the potential growth. Those are all things that you can really learn a lot.
The tears, the pain.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. Going through that rejection and ultimate success.
Startup, another great show that I think produced through public television that's profiling your businesses, and that's really good stuff. So what's coming up next over the next few months that folks need to know about? I know the policy conference will be in May.
Well, actually, first is the Detroit Policy Conference.
Okay, so when is that?
Now that is March 2nd. So that's going to be March 2nd at Motor City Casino Hotel.
Right.
That's really us bringing together the regional leaders in business, civic, government, from all over Southeast Michigan to really kind of inform and inspire as to what's going on in Detroit and how the region fits together in that.
I saw Candy Chang speak at that a few years ago, and it was absolutely mind-blowing. She was an incredible speaker, but I found that to be a very valuable experience, and I'll look forward to that. So that is
March 2nd. March 2nd at Motor City Casino Hotel.
And then the policy conference in Mackinac will be?
It's the end of June, end of May and early June. So I believe May 29th through June 1st or 2nd.
Yeah. Well, Devon O'Reilly, Manager of Entrepreneurship and Detroit Engagement for Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. I think what you're working on is really important. I appreciate you bringing your message of entrepreneurship to Oakland County. Pontiac, our county seat, has got some exciting things going on in that area.
Absolutely has some exciting things going on. I was really interested to see what Flagstar is doing and investing in the community. And I think a lot of people are talking about Pontiac as kind of, they see that as kind of a little bit of Detroit, a little bit of a reflection of what Detroit was and how they were kind of on the come up. So I'm excited in what I do to hopefully work more in the Pontiac area in the upcoming months and years, because they really seem like they've got some interesting things going on.
Well, thanks for being here, Devon.
Absolutely.
This important conversation will continue.